Welcome to my let's play of the first scenario of Time of Legends, Joan of Arc. The English, red, troops lay siege at the village of Rennes, Great Isle. But the French, blue, troops led by Bertrand du Guesclin come to the rescue and break the siege. Bertrand's forces consist of 4 heavy-hitting cavalry units. Bertrand himself is a very tough hero with 5 HP and quick recovery abilities. The English are range heavy 4 bowmen plus 2 bowmen on horseback, are the main force with lots of disruption potential against any enemy force. They are led by a common hero, who is bodyguarded by 2 units of medium infantry sergeants in arms. Victory conditions: English, kill Bertrand du Guesclin, or, all villagers starve to death. French, Bertrand reaches the village. Each round starts with the council phase. It defines the number of standard activation cubes players gain. It also offers a random set of opportunities like gaining legend cards and tokens or experience tokens to level up heroes. Both sides take 2 standard activation cubes. Also, both go for 3 bonus XP tokens. The English player decides to move his mounted bowman to spaces. They have the haste 2 tray that allows them to move to spaces per activation. There, they recruit the neutral guide NPC who gives a small defensive boost. At last, the mounted bowmen dismount and become regular bowmen. These are allowed to set up stakes in this scenario, which helps defending in that direction. Second activation is spent for a ranged attack at 2 unit of cavalry. The bowman's yellow dice show 1 disrupt, 2 pushes, 1 blank. The disrupt was cancelled by a shield. The 2 pushes are used to separate the cavalry units a bit. This ends the first turn for the English player. The French start out rallying their cavalry in one field using 2 standard activations. Finally, the cavalry uses their starting charge activation to circumvent the stakes. Cavalry may move to spaces charging and attack the bowman from the side. The English failed to roll any shields. Their S3 kills eradicated the whole flock, equals 2 XP for the French. This ends round 1. The second round gives 3 standard activations. Council allows to either change 1 standard activation into a charge cube, or gaining an additional standard activation. The English go for the 4th standard activation as they have no units with charge. The French decide to change 1 standard cube into a charge. The English player faces a deadly blob of cavalry units. He makes them his first priority to deal with. At first, he upgrades his hero to level 2, Unholy. This gives him an attack boost as he can disrupt more easily. And he gains Terror 1, which might hinder enemy units to attack altogether. First off, the English activates his hero space. The melee units advance in direction of the enemy, while the single bowman joins his brethren. Second activation sends a rain of arrows at the cavalry blob. But in the end only one push remained to separate one cavalry from the blob. The English infantry took the chance and disrupted the single cavalry, sending it to the infirmary off the board. He used the hero's innate command ability. He moved to adjacent bowman a space further. As spaces usually may only be activated once per turn, this opened up another ranged attack at the cavalry. One cavalry unit was disrupted and sent to the infirmary. Another one got pushed back. The bowmen conclude their activation by setting up stakes. The French used their legend card to rally one unit from the infirmary. This will help defending Bertrand du Guesclin. Bertrand advanced using his command to gather another cavalry unit, then charged into the bowmen. The English bowmen stood no chance and were destroyed. This was the end of round 2. At the end of each round, disrupted units have to make a doom test. This time the cavalry stays disrupted. In this scenario, the villagers start beginning with the end of round 2. 2 civilians died this way. This round brings 4 standard activations. The council cards offer additional tokens or trade opportunities. Both sides chose a trade for a reactivation cube. This will allow to activate one space a second time. The remaining English bowmen attacked Bertrand and his cavalry, disrupting and pushing one cavalry each. Using command, the English forces gathered and made an all-out assault at the alienated Bertrand. Bertrand got heavily wounded and disrupted, but his ability lets him automatically recover from disrupts in the next round. The English player reactivates and moves his hero and infantry to follow up the fleeing cavalry unit. The bowmen send a volley flying after the other cavalry, successfully disrupting them. The last activation was spent for an infantry attack on the remaining cavalry, disrupting them as well. With no units remaining on the field, the French saved up their activations for later use. You can store up to 3 cubes per type for the next round. During the end of the round, the Doom Dice rallied one French cavalry. Bertrand automatically returned with 1 HP left. The Doom Dice also killed one villager, leaving 1 to safe left. Time is running out for Bertrand. The 4th round offers 3 standard activations and the option for an interrupt or reactivation cube. Both sides took the latter. The English forces advanced towards Bertrand. The bowman took a shot at Bertrand's troops. 1 disrupt was shielded. The last activation was spent to spread out the infantry. They should hold up the French, so that they won't break through. The French player started out upgrading Bertrand to unholy level 2. This upped his offensive power. Therefore Bertrand marched towards the single sergeants at arms, killing them. Bertrand's troops followed up after the successful attack. As the French player saved up lots of cubes, Bertrand charged through. With a reactivation cube, special cubes may also be used as standard activations. Bertrand reached the village, winning the scenario just in time.